Thank you. They don't give me enough time for a top 10. I've got some thoughts, starting with great leaders, John Burton, Darrell Steinberg, and they got it right. We've got a lot of work to do, but I think it's going to be a great year to be a Democrat. It's always been a great year for Dianne Feinstein. This year will be no exception. But it's also going to be a good year to beat Bill Monning, who's going to take back a state Senate seat in the Central Coast that should be represented by a good Democrat. It's going to be a good year to beat Kathleen Guglielmi, who's going to pick up a Central Valley seat that never should have gone Republican. Those two seats alone will give Democrats a 2/3 majority in the state Senate, and if we work hard, there's no reason we have to stop at 2/3. Right. It's going to be a good year to be Bakersfield City Councilman Rudy Salas. Rudy can pick up a key Valley Assembly seat for Assembly Democrats, and a good year to be Jose Medina in Riverside. Take a tough but winnable new seat and put Speaker John Perez over the top with the 2/3 majority in the Assembly. If we California Democrats can help these great candidates win their campaigns, and a few more for good measure, we'll have the majorities we need to smartly rebuild the public services that have been gutted in the last lost decade. Let me mention as the banker, today we only spend $3,600 per Californian for all state government services, including education, health, welfare, public safety, less than we spent 4 years ago. In fact, today the state spends less as a percentage of California's personal income than we did when Ronald Reagan was governor. To be precise, we now spend $5.14 for every $100 of personal income, compared to $6.02 under Reagan's last budget. That got to be $6.60 during Republican Governor Deukmejian's time, $6.70 under Schwarzenegger. So we've got a spending problem, all right, but it's not the Republican version. We're spending less, not more, than California needs. We're spending less, a lot less, on elementary, secondary, higher education for kids. We're spending less on our communities and neighborhoods to keep them safe. We're spending less that Californians need to have health care and to be productive. We're not spending nearly enough on the public works we need to rebuild and sustain a growing economy. Since 2000, California's per capita spending on public services provided by the state has gone down by 25%. And what about our supposedly obese public employee bureaucracy? Well, it turns out California is actually very skinny. In fact, when you look at the number of full-time state employees per 10,000 residents, California has the 5th thinnest public workforce in the nation. We're 23% below the national average. And here's a flash, we're smaller than Texas. Rick Perry's lean and fit model of state bureaucracies is actually a flabby couch potato compared to California. So where's the evidence that California has an overspending problem? The same place you'll find Mitt Romney's compassion, Newt Gingrich's humility, Rick Santorum's tolerance, and Ron Paul's chances nowhere. I think the big difference between Republicans and Democrats these days is what we remember and they've forgotten. Democrats remember that America is an extraordinary, ever-evolving experiment in shared governance, shared opportunity, and shared prosperity. our country's founding principles, our core inspiration that informs our party, is that everybody counts, that every voice matters, and it's not just an abstraction. When we play by those rules, we awaken an awesome economic engine that's the wonder of the world. American-style engagement in democracy does create prosperity for us all, not just a few. But the trend is disturbing. In the last decade and a half, the wealthiest 1% share of national income, which is the product of everybody's work, increased by more than 120%. Over the same time, the middle 40% of Americans saw their share fall by 10%. These facts alone make it clear to me that the American economy is not just failing, it's failing because the rules have been reset so that the needs and wants of a few matter a great deal and the aspirations of the rest don't matter. So as Democrats, our job is what it has consistently been. We say and we mean it. Every child gets a good education. We say and we mean it. Everyone who wants to work should have a real shot at a good job and a retirement free from fear. We say and we mean it. We must deploy all the diverse and wonderful power of California. It's young and old, women and men, business and labor. It's aspiring and highly motivated individuals of every race and color and religion and way of thinking. And we say it and we mean it when we say everyone counts. And that's how we'll move forward. So what's the Republican plan? Apparently, it's to nominate as president a guy who can count up his own 40 million but doesn't think poor people count. Someone who thinks that poor people have nothing to worry about because they have the safety net. Someone who has no interest in working to help people climb off the safety net. A guy who, like his party, has sadly forgotten the American experiment and promise. That's what makes me glad to be a California Democrat. And I want to take this opportunity to give fair warning to the Republicans we'll be taking on come November in California and across the nation. If you represent wealthy enclaves, clinging to your privileges, but attacking the rights of workers, we're coming after you. If you support paycheck deception and oppose tax revenue measures that can put our schools and our state back on the right track, we're coming after you. If you represent a district with growing Latino strength, but vote the homophobic, anti-choice, anti-immigrant Tea Party line, we're coming after you.